Welcome back to Rise and Shine viewers. On set with me at this time we have Miss Carolyn Correia, and she's an author, and she's here this morning to tell us about some books that she wrote, but to launch a particular book. Ms. Correia, good morning and
Hi.
welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
Okay, tell us, did you set out, or at the onset, did you know or believe that you would have become a writer, an author?
Well, at first I didn't, but I always had a passion for writing. So it started as early as school, and then I got my first published article in 2005. And I later contributed to the Woman Express for 2 years on a Jamaican magazine called Panache Jamaica. And this book, Thinking Out Loud, is a compilation of those articles.
Okay.
So right now I freelance with the Newsday. I do human interest stories. So it kind of, everything just fell into place at the right times.
Okay, but before going into books and into writing now, what was what did you do?
Well, I worked in corporate for like a little over 10 years. So I worked in HR for 7 years. I worked in communications, and yeah, so now I'm following my passion. I'm living my books. I am now a motivational speaker and a communications consultant, and I do freelance writing, and I'm living my dream.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
But let's talk a few minutes about your first book, Thinking Out Loud. And can one think out loud?
Well, I think out loud a lot. A lot
loud?
of my friends tell me I think too much. They say, Carolyn, you're overthinking, stop thinking. So this book, well, as I said, it's a compilation of it's sort of inspirational, motivational articles, but it's things that everybody could relate to. When I came up with the concept for the book, well, actually it happened by accident. I just clicked on something one day on Facebook and I said, wait, I could just publish a collection of these articles, and that's how it started. But basically the articles are about life, it's about aging, it's about family, it's about friendships, relationships, it's about Christmas, it's about everything you could think of. So someone once said to me, it's what everybody thinks about but afraid to talk about. So, but it's very universal concepts.
Okay, but what stands out most for you, most conspicuous for you? I know everything is important, you know, that you write about, but something must stand out in Thinking Out Loud. I see on the horizon here, I think this is a Tobago picture, if I'm
yes,
not,
that's a Pigeon Point jetty.
Not mistaken. You know.
That happened actually by, my friends think I'm clairvoyant because I was hunting for a picture. Somebody was supposed to take a picture for me, and there was a lot of delays and stuff. Then one day I remembered my friend, one of my friends, Neville Alexander. He does freelance photography. And I asked him if he had any stock photos, and he told me he does, and he sent me 3 photos, and I chose this one. And 2 years later, I ended up living and working in Tobago. So that is how this picture came about.
Okay, Thinking Out Loud. So from Thinking Out Loud, you branched off and you wrote a second book, and I think, well, I'm certain that there would be once life holds a third and a fourth. But how to find yourself and claim what's yours? What gave you thought to even the topic of this one?
Right. So this one is a memoir. It's a memoir of my professional journey over the last 6 years. It was actually inspired by my dad, who passed away in December. In 2009, he told me, you know, I should write a book. So I'm like, what am I gonna, it's a book? How am I gonna fill all these pages? And all of this is in the preface. You know, because I doubted myself that, well, that this book was born before this book, but this one was published before this one. Okay. So this one I actually started in 2009, and I completed it in December 2014. So this book, it talks about how I wanted to become a writer so much, Then I actually got my articles published, and then transitioning from this technical field where I felt I couldn't express my creativity, then getting my breakthrough to come to Tobago and pursue my passion. I did communications, and then how the experiences in Tobago, how it helped propel me towards entrepreneurship and motivational speaking and writing and everything else. So that's how the second book was born.
Well, we're still talking about the book, but tell me about your experiences in Tobago, because you came from Trinidad and you live in Tobago, and now you're an entrepreneur in Tobago. And
actually, I moved back to Trinidad.
Oh, you moved back to Trinidad?
Because of my dad, yeah.
Okay, but your experience in Tobago, tell us about it.
Okay, well, I was the Communications and Research Officer at the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. There I got to showcase more of my talents. I did a lot of the things that I wanted to do, and it's not only the experiences there, but my overall experience living on my own in, well, it's not a new country, but a different place. How I developed that sort of independence and confidence. It increased my confidence, and it propelled me towards this field. So I would say that the experiences I had and the people I met, especially hosting the staff functions, especially, that just sealed the deal for me. I knew that after I hosted, I remember Mother's Day function in particular, when I saw the staff and how they interacted, and they were sharing their wow moments of being a mother. And then after I played games and people got up and danced, and it was just wonderful. I went back home on my porch and I told my mother, well, my new back porch, and I told her this is what I should be doing for the rest of my life. I want to do more workshops, and so that is how the experiences in Tobago helped me to write this book and to follow my dream.
Okay, so maybe the third book we can see you devoting it to Tobago and Tobagonians.
Well, who knows? The sky's the limit, I plan to spend more time here on the island, hopefully. So that's one of my goals. Okay,
so tell us about the support that you had for writing while you were writing, because it's very tedious. Where you write a chapter, you write 2 pages, and you sit and you think about what you're doing next. And how long it took you to, let's say, write the first book, Thinking Out Loud?
Well, the first book those articles were previously published in a newspaper and a magazine, so that was very easy. I self-published, so basically it was just getting the articles together. I had a local editor, Felix Edinburgh, a retired school teacher in Trinidad, and he edited it for me, and I just sent it into the publishers, and in a matter of 6 weeks I had my book. And the second book, wow, that was some work. That was really, I wouldn't say challenging, because I was propelled by my passion. I used to stay up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 6 o'clock. I could hear my neighbors, I could smell the breakfast, and I was now going to sleep when everybody was waking up. But a lot of long hours, a lot of effort and sacrifices, but it was definitely worth it. So my editor, Patricia Granum, she really helped, because at first she felt that I wasn't sharing enough. I wasn't connecting the dots for my readers. And after a few drafts, she was very pleased with the second and the third and fourth draft. And so it was a lot of work, but definitely. It took me 6 months to edit, and 6 years to write, because it was a journey. It was a memoir of a particular period in my life.
So tell us about your thoughts on a third topic.
For another topic for a book? Actually, believe it or not, I started a third book while this book was being edited. The third book is about how to cope with grief. Seeing that my dad died, and I was very, very close to him. And that was the first time I ever had to deal with death. I mean, I thought I dealt with it pretty quickly because there was closure for me. I know that it was his time and stuff. But I could probably provide hope for other people. So the book is not just going to be about me. I'm going to be interviewing different people who lost loved ones, and and get some psychologists to add some stuff, some meat to it, and and that'll be the basis of the third book. And I also started poetry. Oh my God. I never thought I was creative enough to do poetry before, and I started writing, and I ended up with some poems. So those are the other book 3 and book 4 in train. I don't know when it'll be completed, but that is what's on my agenda now.
Okay, a few years down the road, but they are in train as we speak.
Yeah.
Okay, so you intend to, or do you believe that there are persons in Trinidad and Tobago there are quite a number of persons in Trinidad and Tobago who don't know how to handle grief, death and dying, were never, taught or the right, maybe psychologists or advice is not given them. So there are a number of grieved persons, sick people walking about in our society.
Yeah, I think so. I really think so.
What can be done? Do you think anything can be done to assist, generally to assist these persons? Because, we hear when something happens, something dramatic happens, someone in authority would say, we're sending a psychologist in the school, we're sending a psychologist in the workplace to talk to them, as the case in the Port of Spain General Hospital last weekend. But there are other tragical things that happen to ordinary people, and nothing is done.
Right.
They are just being left to their own selves.
I think, something needs to be done about that. More psychologists need to go, as you say, to the hospitals and maybe to homes and stuff. So I think maybe the universities can incorporate that into the curriculum. I don't know if they do already. So like the third-year students or the second-year students studying psychology and social work could go into the homes and into the schools to give people counseling and stuff like that.
Okay, so for the next few minutes, let's talk about the book launch. You present book launch. When?
So the book launch, How to Find Yourself and Claim What's Yours, will be, I had a Trinidad launch on the 28th of June in Dallas, Trinidad, and I want to have a Tobago launch on the 12th of September at the Scarborough Library. So basically the book is geared towards entrepreneurs, artists like writers, even singers, whatnot, creative people, and also persons aspiring to entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs. But it's open to anybody in seeking their purpose and a greater meaning to life. So that is it on Saturday, the 12th of September. It's going to be a book launch with a difference.
So how to find yourself and claim what's yours?
Well, it's funny. My sister, Wendy, said this to me while I was editing the book. She said, I asked her, do you think I found myself and claim what's yours? She's like, but you're on your way there. It's a continuous journey. I mean, I think that I'm definitely growing exponentially every year. I think life is a work in progress, and we all are growing. And I've definitely come a long way. I think Tobago really added to that. I mean, my friends comment on how different I am, having lived here and, coming back to Trinidad now. So, so it's a continuous journey.
Okay, so before we go, what can you say to Trinidadians, Tobagonians, young entrepreneurs, people who want to break out in their own domain, but just sort of timid to do so? What can you say to them?
Right. So it's really a struggle. It's a continuous journey. But as Paul Keynes Douglas said, I just attended his workshop. You have to save you have to put things in place first. If you plan to leave your job, I know it's hard to step out of your comfort zone. So if you make, let's say, $7,000, you have to save 12 times that much for the entire year and try to continuously make it back. And sometimes you just have to take a chance. I took a chance. I had a lot of support, and the rewards are infinite. Because once you're doing what you love and you have a passion for it, there's always an abundance for creation and fulfillment. So,
okay.
Take a chance.
Well, I would say combining the two books together, the topics.
Oh, and I also did an audio book. I forgot to say.
And there's an audio
of
as
Thinking
well.
Out Loud.
Of Thinking Out Loud.
Yes.
Okay. So, is there any cost to these, or?
Yes. This one it's $130. And this one, it's $90.
And where can they be?
I plan on negotiations. I'm trained right now for getting it into the bookstores in Tobago. But in Trinidad, it's at Sharon St. James Metropolitan, downtown, all locations of RIK, and on Amazon.com and Kindle and paperback.
Okay, well, let me just combine the two publications for you. Think Out Loud, Find Yourself and Claim What's Yours, and that's for everybody out there, okay? I want to thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay. Viewers, I've been talking to Ms. Carolyn Correia and on the launch of her book. We wish you well, but we go for a break. Now, when we return, we come back with Ms. Anne-Marie Degazo, community action worker, Camille Daniel, workshop participant, Curtis Archie, also workshop participant, and they'll be talking about a community leadership program or training program that was done days ago. We go for a break and return to you in a moment.